Welcome to AI and Cloud Weekly, your trusted source for the latest breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, cloud computing, cybersecurity, enterprise technology, and digital innovation. I'm your host, and today we'll explore the most important technology developments shaping the future of business and innovation. Let's dive into this week's top stories. Right out of the gate, we are looking at a pivotal, absolutely game-changing shift in the tech landscape. If you've been following cloud architecture, you know we've spent the last decade pretty much obsessed with basic compute, scalable storage, and just getting our data houses in order. But in a dense 3-day window in August of 2026, the entire narrative shifted. We're no longer just talking about hosting apps. We are entering the era of highly specialized autonomous AI agents. The big three, AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure, have all laid down their cards, and the resulting agentic cloud wars are going to completely redefine enterprise tech. To make sense of it all, we're going to break down these titans vendor by vendor. First, we'll hit AWS and OpenAI cybersecurity. Then, AWS AI agent infrastructure, Google Cloud enterprise dominance, Ryanair's AI transformation, and finally, Azure security and mobility.
Starting off with AWS and OpenAI cybersecurity, the new frontline.
You know, AWS has historically been pretty guarded about native integrations, right? But their aggressive new partnership with OpenAI on Amazon Bedrock completely flips the script for enterprise security. It perfectly captures the dual nature of modern cyber warfare using a classic red team versus blue team approach, but entirely AI native. On one side, we have Daybreak Blue, powered by GPT 5.6 Sol. Think of this as your shield. It's built with strict defensive guardrails to protect your infrastructure. On the other side is Daybreak Red, running on GPT 5.6 Cyber. This is your sword, built for offensive, deep vulnerability research. And to give you an idea of just how powerful this is, security researchers have already used Daybreak Red to discover multiple zero-day sandbox escapes in the Google Chrome V8 engine. No joke. These aren't just your everyday chatbots, they are highly specialized cyber operators. And to make those agents even more lethal or protective, depending on how you look at it, AWS rolled out web search on Amazon Bedrock. This means those OpenAI models are no longer trapped in some static training data bubble. They can securely retrieve real-time internet data. This literally expands their tactical awareness overnight. If a new zero-day exploit drops on the dark web or a fresh security bulletin is published, your Bedrock models can instantly factor that real-time data into their defensive or offensive strategies. It's a real game changer. Moving right along to AWS AI agent infrastructure, building the future. Now, having smart models is really only half the battle. You need the roads for those models to drive on. So AWS dropped a massive suite of platform updates to make these agents run flawlessly. First up, Amazon DynamoDB now supports native vector search. This is absolutely huge. It means you no longer have to depend on external third-party vector databases. Your agents can search complex data natively, saving you a tremendous amount of time and architectural cost. They've also cranked up AWS Lambda function bandwidth limits to a staggering 3,000 megabits per second, ensuring those massive data flows won't bottleneck. Add in Karairo Crew, which gives you dedicated multi-agent collaborative workspaces and runtime instances on Bedrock Agent Core, and you're giving these AI swarms uninterrupted compute power to just get the job done. But here's the million-dollar question. With all these autonomous agents running wild in your cloud, how do you actually govern them? Well, enter Dogwood. Dogwood is a brand new open-source governance language based on Cedar. But the real key word you need to pay attention to here is temporal. Dogwood incorporates strict temporal controls. This means you can write policies that say an AI agent is only allowed to access a specific customer database for, say, exactly 5 minutes to execute a specific task, and then poof, its access completely vanishes. When you're deploying autonomous agents at the enterprise level, this kind of precise, time-bound governance isn't just a nice perk, it's absolutely mandatory. And we're already seeing the real-world application of this high-powered infrastructure. AWS just signed a strategic partnership with Novo Nordisk to use these exact tools for AI-driven drug discovery. We're talking a massive compute, specialized agents, and ironclad secure governance coming together to literally accelerate pharmaceutical breakthroughs. Amazing stuff.
Next, let's dive into Google Cloud enterprise dominance, moving to real-world logistics.
Google Cloud has been quietly shifting the narrative away from abstract AI platforms to massive, validated operational deployments. And man, is this pivot paying off. Forrester just named Google a leader in their Q3 2026 AI Platforms Wave report. And the driving force behind this isn't just raw compute power. It's specifically their Gemini Enterprise Agent platform, which is letting businesses deploy custom agents company-wide. They're making AI actually do the heavy lifting at the enterprise level.
For the developers tuning in, Google is completely bridging the gap between AI and data. Their AI native IDE, Anti-Gravity, now directly integrates ClickHouse databases using Model Context Protocol, or MCP servers. This seamlessly connects developer coding environments straight to massive data warehouses, so the AI can actually understand the deep context of the company's data natively while it's writing code.
Let's look at a prime example: Ryanair's AI transformation, a 5-year mega deal.
The most fascinating proof of Google Cloud's enterprise dominance dropped on August 12th. I want you to think about this number: over 216 million. That is the number of annual passengers Ryanair serves. Think about the sheer logistical weight of that. The flight schedules, the crew assignments, the maintenance routing, the dynamic weather variables. Every single one of those passengers' flights is now going to be directly optimized by autonomous Google agents. And here's the playbook on exactly how they're pulling this off. Ryanair isn't just throwing one generic AI at the problem. Step 1, they're deploying Gemini Enterprise agents specifically to untangle and optimize complex crew logistics. Step 2, they're tapping into DeepMind's Alpha Evolve model to handle the immensely complicated physics and routing of flight logistics. And step 3, they're rolling out DeepMind WeatherNext strictly for predictive weather operations. They are taking discrete, highly complex operational silos and assigning dedicated, world-class AI models to run them. It is honestly a masterclass in applied enterprise AI. Finally, let's turn to Azure Security and Mobility, pragmatic IT reality. While AWS and Google are out there making splashy headlines with global logistics and cyber warfare, Microsoft Azure is anchoring these high-flying concepts right back to grounded, pragmatic IT realities. They just rolled out updates to Defender for Cloud. Look, previously, malware scanning meant running a heavy, ridiculously expensive scan across an entire storage account, which just led to massive cloud bills. Now, you can run targeted, on-demand scans on specific blobs or containers. Optimizing security costs while maintaining strict compliance is exactly the kind of practical feature that IT directors actually care about on a random Tuesday afternoon. Azure is also fully leaning into the reality that the future is multi-cloud, and they clearly want to make it as frictionless as possible to move your data into their ecosystem. They've introduced Azure Storage Mover, which allows for agentless transfers directly from AWS FSx straight into Azure files. They're stripping away the usual operational headaches of complex enterprise cloud migrations, effectively opening the floodgates for hybrid cloud architectures to really flourish. And to tie it all together, Microsoft Purview introduced a unified policy engine. Why is this absolutely critical? Well, as these agentic AIs become more and more autonomous, you simply can't have one set of compliance rules for your human employees and local data and a completely different set of blind spots for your AI agents. Azure is stepping up to provide a single, unified pane of glass to secure both your traditional local data and these new autonomous agents under the exact same compliance umbrella. Let's bring it all home with our summary, the Big Three's August Playbook. If we bring all three vendors back together to recap, the strategic focus of each provider paints a crystal clear picture of where this market is heading. AWS is leaning heavily into high-stakes cybersecurity and the raw underlying infrastructure needed to actually govern AI swarms. Google Cloud is out there proving that its platforms are fully baked and ready for prime time. Massive-scale enterprise operations and real-world physical logistics, just look at Ryanair. And Microsoft Azure? They're securing the perimeter, focusing on pragmatic multi-cloud security, seamless data mobility, and unified cost-effective governance. They're all attacking the agentic cloud era for sure, but from distinctly different, highly strategic angles. Which leaves us with the most important question for you to consider. The infrastructure is here, the models are highly specialized, the governance is in place. So how will the rapid deployment of agentic AI reshape your own cloud architecture by 2027? Are your current systems truly ready for autonomous agents? It's a fascinating challenge to navigate. Those were this week's biggest developments in artificial intelligence, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and enterprise technology. Thank you for watching AI and Cloud Weekly. If you found this update valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Keep watching AI and Cloud Weekly for the latest insights shaping the future of technology. See you next week.